What if I told you that the last 2 weeks of December would define your entire year ahead? This December window won't come again. What you do in these next 2 weeks could shape your entire next year. This holiday season isn't just a time to reflect, it's a unique window to rewrite your story and set the tone for the year ahead. While most people wind down, a select few individuals harness this hidden season to create breakthroughs, ready to uncover the secret or their secret. In my experience, I know this firsthand because 2 years ago, I was exactly where many of you are right now, caught between holidays obligations, business pressures, and the knowing feeling that there had to be a better way. Drop a Christmas tree emoji in the chat if you are feeling that unique December energy right now. But here is what's fascinating. Neuroscience has discovered this period holds more transformational potential than any other 52 weeks combined. That's right. More potential than an entire year of January motivations or resolutions combined into one. Drop a fire emoji in the chat if you have ever felt the holiday season was slipping away without making progress on what truly matters. Hi, I am Martin from Aura Empower. And I know this time of the year can feel overwhelming, don't get me wrong. But in the next 60 minutes or less, I'll show you how to make this your most transformational season yet. You will discover why billionaires like Warren Buffett and Charles Munger harness these exact seasonal patterns for their biggest breakthroughs. So in the next 60 minutes or less, you will discover, number one, the secret window of transformation that most people miss. This isn't just about timing, it's about leveraging what neuroscience tells us about your brain's peak receptivity periods. Number two, the exact neural pattern framework that's helping our community triple their results. The same framework that helped Jessica transform her business while working less, and Sarah revolutionize her family's morning chaos. Number three, how to implement these patterns during the holiday season for maximum impact. Because contrary to popular belief, December isn't about winding down, it's about winding up. While others are waiting for January, you have the chance to seize the most powerful transformation window of the year right now. Type ready if you are prepared to transform your holiday stress into your biggest breakthrough catalyst. Before we dive deeper, let me introduce you to our transformational toolkit, the Neural Pattern Mastery Worksheet. Just bear with me whilst I bring up my screen. And some of you, you probably have downloaded it, but for those that haven't, I'll just show you, where to locate it and probably the parts that are in it before we proceed. That's the neural part. Sorry, I think I'm slightly bemused by my tech here. Right. Here is the neural pattern, worksheet, where you can sample it, and you can see you can see what's in it there. I've put 3 pages there where you can check what it is before if you don't download. But there's also some what it says it contains. Then you can download it from there. Okay, I'll stop the share now, and I'll walk you through what's in it. There are 3 parts in it, and I'll open up yet another tool here. Right, I wonder whether I would be in the right place. By all accounts, I've got so many things on my screen. Let's see that one. Yes, that's the one. So, it's kind of, contained in a PDF. So there will be 3 parts. Let me yeah, okay, that's the page that starts with it. And, it's the Transform Your Holiday Story, December Breakthrough Edition of the Neural Pattern Mastery. Some of you might recall, we worked on, on the introduction to it, the previous way. Now we are applying it to the holiday season. And there are 3 parts. There would be, that part, that first part there, which is your current patterns. So we'll be going through that. And the A part is a pattern recognition assessment. And then, that continues. And then, stress trigger mapping. C, holiday season pressure points. If you check, if you flip your own PDF, if you've already got it, then we get into this section 2, step framework. We covered, a part of it, in the last, few sessions. So, we'll be applying this as well here. And, that's it there. And then part 3 is implementation. And that implementation we will take through, daily pattern tracking around holiday season, and the success metrics, part B, and the breakthrough, documentation there, at the end. So I will stop sharing, and so we can probably go a little bit faster, since now you know what's in it. So as I refer to it, just flip it up. Yeah, there. I think we are back into our session, and we'll be referring to to it more often. So what we will be learning from the worksheet today, but also we have also practice of a regular Sunday experience next Sunday. Now I know some of you might be thinking, this sounds great, but this Sunday, right before Christmas. That's exactly why this timing is perfect. While others are caught in the holiday rush, you will be implementing patterns that turn this seasonal stress into your biggest breakthrough catalyst. Think of this worksheet as your personal transformation playbook, designed to take you from overwhelmed to empowered, one step at a time. Think of this worksheet as your holiday compass, guiding you through the season's chaos to a destination of clarity and momentum. Just as top performing enterprises invest in L&D or learning and development, this is your tool for personal growth. It's your personal roadmap to a breakthrough. Let me quickly walk you through its power sections, which I've already done in part. First part is the pattern recognition, which highlights the first page. This is your transformation, where transformation begins identifying the exact patterns that have been invisible to you right now. The second part is STEPDA, which I briefly touched about, your transformation system, the same one that helped our community members create extraordinary results. You'll be learning about that. And lastly, section 3 is the implementation roadmap, which we have just covered. Because knowledge without action is just entertainment. The secret ensures, this section ensures your transformation sticks. The download link, like I've just mentioned, is in the chat. Take a moment to scan these sections. What excites you most about this transformation? Type excited in the chat to share, or type got it when you have your own copy. We'll use it throughout our session to engineer your breakthrough. Now, have you ever wondered how some of the world's most successful people consistently achieve breakthroughs while others struggle to keep up? Let me share something fascinating. Warren Buffett and Charles Munger, two of the world's most successful investors have a secret pattern that most people miss. They say no to almost everything except during key transformation windows. Their pattern recognition skills have led to over $100 billion in success. But here is what's even more interesting. What makes leaders like Buffett and Bezos exceptional isn't just timing, it's their mastery of pattern recognition and their investment in continuous learning like we're doing here. This isn't limited to billionaires. High-performing companies thrive because they prioritize learning and development, turning knowledge into breakthroughs. Just this last week, Jeff Bezos revealed something powerful at the New York Times Deal Book Summit. He shared that most senior leaders must master 3 critical patterns. Number 1, identifying big ideas when others miss them. Sounds familiar? Maybe you know, got some other examples. But number 2, he shared that creating systems is important for tough execution. And lastly, he said, number 3, that growing the next generation of leaders is important and paramount. Type yes if you have ever wondered how these billionaires seem to time their biggest breakthroughs perfectly. And just like these leaders, you don't need billions to start. You need the right patterns and timing, and December is your golden opportunity. But here is where it gets even more exciting. What's their secret? It's all about timing, and December is the most overlooked opportunity of the year. Their strategies, or the strategies that these billionaires use to create the biggest breakthroughs, aren't reserved for them. They are available to you right now during this season of unparalleled potential. Neuroscience shows us that the best time to implement these strategies isn't January 1st. It's right now, in these unique December weeks, when your brain is actually 40% more receptive to new patterns. Drop a brain emoji in the chat if you are ready to learn how to leverage this for yourself. I'm sure you'd love that. Let me show you how our community discovered this and how you can tap into the same potential. Are you ready? Well, the holiday season is like a snow-covered trail. Most people follow the well-trodden path. But the real breakthroughs happen when you chart your own course. Probably you've got some big ideas here, and you've got a big why, why probably you are here. But here is what fascinates me about the holiday season. We've uncovered a pattern that most people completely miss. While everyone else is winding down, a small group of people are using this time to create extraordinary breakthroughs. We've identified 3 distinct patterns that either trap or transform people during December. As I share this, on your worksheet, notice which one resonates most deeply with you. Think about your December so far. From the worksheet, type past, or as you identify, or pressure, or postpone in the chat, and let's discover how to break free. What's the first pattern that jumps out at you? Share it in one word in the chat. Number 1 is the past trap, which you see on the worksheet. You find yourself thinking, another year gone? I haven't really achieved anything. So the weight of unfulfilled goals keeps you stuck in a reflection instead of action. Sounds familiar? Then number 2 is the pressure trap. We think so much to do, so little time. The holiday obligations pile up and you feel like you are drowning in everyone else's expectations. Then lastly, number 3, the postponement trap. You think or say in your heart of hearts or mind, I will start afresh in January. The seductive whisper that keeps you waiting for the perfect time that never comes. Sounds familiar? I've been there. What if the stress you are feeling isn't a problem, but an untapped power source? Stanford research reveals how to flip the script, and this changes everything. Your brain is actually 40% more receptive to new patterns during periods of environmental change. And guess what? December gives us the perfect environmental change to leverage. Drop the brain emoji in the chat if you are starting to see why this timing is so crucial. This is where STEPDA, the next section, the STEPDA framework becomes your secret weapon. It's not just another acronym like we found out last season if you were here, or last week if you were here. It's a neural pattern installation system that works with your brain's natural transformation cycles. Now, turn to section 2 or B of the worksheet. Think about how pattern recognition works, noticing what's holding you back and flipping it to your advantage. Let me show you how this framework transforms everyday situations into breakthroughs. Are you ready? Let's work through this together using a real example that many in our community face. Are you ready? Type ready, in the comments if you're ready. Let's break down each element of this powerful framework. First, S, the situation. Picture this. Holiday gifting, which we all do, is creating financial pressure. I'm feeling it too. Maybe you are. Family expectations are mounting, and you are feeling pulled in every direction. Now, take a moment. Write down your specific situation. What's causing the most pressure right now for you? Now, secondly, on the step, the framework is T for thoughts. Most of us default to thoughts like, for instance, I can't afford to give everyone what they deserve, or I'm letting everyone down. Sounds familiar? Drop a thought balloon emoji in the chat if these thoughts sound familiar. Next, emotions. This is where transformation begins. Let's pause for 3 deep breaths together. From deep down your belly. Now, name your current emotion in the chat. Anxious, overwhelmed, or excited, whichever. There is no wrong or right answer here. Now, let's turn to beliefs. Under every stressful holiday situation lies a core belief. Often it's something like this. It goes something like this. I must make everyone happy. Or, my worth is tied to how much I can give. Type yes if you recognize any of these beliefs in yourself. Next, decisions on the step that, for decisions. Here is where everything changes. Once you see these patterns, new choices emerge. What choices do you actually have? Let's list 3 alternatives you might not have considered before and just write them down. Next is actions. This is where transformation becomes real. Share one small, powerful action you could take today. Something that feels more exciting and also slightly uncomfortable, because most actions that are exciting, they're also uncomfortable. Now, R is for results. This is your breakthrough moment. Close your eyes with me, except I won't close mine for now. Okay, imagine waking up on December the 26th, feeling not exhausted, but energized, not drained, but transformed. Type clear when you have completed your first pattern installation. This is just the beginning. You have installed, a pattern right now. Now, you might be thinking, this sounds great in theory, but does it really work? You might be thinking that, won't you? I would. But let me share 3 extraordinary transformations from our community. Each one started exactly where you are right now, during the December window of opportunity. Pay special attention to which story resonates most with you. It might just be the key to your own breakthrough. Let me tell you a story about Sarah, a story that might feel remarkably familiar to many of you. Sarah was a busy mom of 3, running a wellness business from home. Last December, she found herself drowning in what I call the holiday hurricane. Trying to pack perfect lunches, answer urgent client messages, maintain a Pinterest-like home, and while feeling like she was falling or failing at everything. Type relate if you ever feel like this kind of overwhelming pressure to do it all. What's one word that describes how the holiday season feels to you? Drop it in the chat. But here is where everything changed. During one of our Aura Empower experience sessions, which I mentioned previously, Sarah discovered something that would transform not just December, but her entire approach to life and business. The transformation unfolded in 3 phases. Number 1, it was pattern recognition. She identified her chaos trigger, the belief that being a good mother, business owner, and a person meant doing everything perfectly all at once. Then pattern number 2 is pattern intervention. She installed a new pattern we call present power pattern, focusing on one conscious connection moment with one child before everything else. No phones, no distractions, just pure presence. And lastly, number 3, pattern installation. Over 21 days, something remarkable happened. She created a new neural pathway that changed everything. The results were extraordinary. Number 1, the morning stress dropped by 80%. Number 2, her children started helping without being asked. Number 3, client satisfaction scores actually increased. But most importantly, number 4, she felt truly present for the first time. Drop a love heart emoji in the chat if you can imagine this kind of transformation in your own life. Sarah's journey is proof that the right pattern can transform even the busiest life. Now, let's see how Mark took this even further. Each of these stories is like a glowing candle in the dark. Proof that even in the busiest season, transformation is possible when you harness the right tools. Do you ever feel like you are wearing too many hats? Juggling work, family, and endless to-do lists? That was Mark. Now, let me share how Mark transformed from overwhelmed leader to an inspirational force. All during the December window, most people waste. Mark was that leader. You might know the type, struggling with endless deadlines, performance reviews, and the impossible task of balancing team needs and family holiday time. His stress wasn't just affecting his work, it was slipping into every family and holiday moment. Type lead if you have ever felt pulled between business demands and holiday harmony. What's one leadership challenge you'd love to overcome this holiday season? Share it in the chat. So the turning point for Mark, it wasn't what he expected. During a clarity call, Mark discovered something that would revolutionize not just his leadership, but his entire approach to December. His breakthrough happened in 3 distinct phases again. Pattern recognition, number 1. He identified his control trigger, the exhausting belief that a good leader must personally manage every detail, every outcome, and every moment. Number 2, pattern intervention. He implemented our leadership presence pattern, transforming from controller to empowerer through one simple daily practice, the power of conscious delegation. Number 3, pattern installation. Within 21 days, just like Sarah, the transformation was undeniable. Team productivity soared by 40%. Holiday scheduling shift disappeared. Holiday scheduling vanished. Employee satisfaction hit record highs. And for the first time, he actually enjoying being a leader. Drop a head crown emoji in the chat if you see this kind of leadership transformation happening for you. But if you think that's powerful, wait until you hear Jessica's story, because this is where everything comes together. Jessica's story might hit close to home for many of you. In fact, it reveals the exact pattern that keeps most wellness entrepreneurs stuck. At her breaking point, Jessica realized something crucial. The harder she worked, the further she felt away from her goals. Sounds familiar? Jessica was running her wellness business, but found herself trapped in what I call the effort trap. I think we covered it again last week, which I also, happened to have had before. Working long hours, saying yes to every opportunity, living on coffee and determination or noodles, Type yes if you have ever felt stuck in this kind of effort loop. Well, for Jessica, she was doing everything the experts said she should. Hustling harder, saying yes to every opportunity, working through holidays, but something wasn't adding up. In fact, the harder she worked, the further she felt from her goals. Then, during one of our Aura Empower sessions, she discovered something that would revolutionize not just her business, but her entire approach to life. And I want you to pay close attention, because this is how you can transform your story. Her breakthrough happened in 3 distinct phases. Number 1, pattern recognition. She identified what I call the scarcity trigger. That constant voice saying, if I don't say yes to everything, then I will miss my big break. Sounds familiar? Type yes if you've ever felt that same pressure. I see a lot of yeses coming in. You are not alone in this. Now, pattern number 2, the pattern intervention she implemented was value pattern framework, focusing on high impact client conversations instead of trying to be everywhere at once. Now, you might be thinking, but won't I miss opportunities? That's exactly what Jessica feared. But watch what happened. The transformation was beyond what any of us expected. Number 1, her client conversations transformed from rushed to meaningful. Just like we covered, conversations last week. Her conversations rate didn't just improve, it tripled. And number 3, working long hours dropped by 40%. But here is the real breakthrough. Wanna wait, you know, to hear this? For the first time in years, she felt truly energized and in control. Imagine cutting your work hours by 40% and still achieving more. That's Jessica's story. It could be yours. Drop a high voltage emoji in the chat if you are ready for this kind of transformation in your business. Now, drop the number 2 in the chat if you want to know exactly how to make this happen. This is where everything changes. You've seen these 3 remarkable transformations. Sarah's family breakthrough, Mark's leadership evolution, and Jessica's business transformation. Now, imagine each of these stories as a radiant candle lighting up the darkness. Evidence that during the business times, transformation isn't just a dream. It's attainable when you leverage the right tools. Now, it's your moment. Before we dive into your implementation guide, which is part 3, you know, which I showed you earlier, I want you to do something crucial. Turn to that, you know, worksheet, you know, section. Close your eyes now for just a moment. Imagine it's December 26th. The holiday rush is behind you, but instead of feeling drained, you feel energized. Instead of feeling, or instead of the relief that is over, you feel excitement about what's next. That's not just possible. It's exactly what we are going to create together right now. And it's your moment. Turn to section 1 of the worksheet, which is the current patterns. Firstly, you know, that we know we dealt with. Turn to that section, current patterns. And now, this is where the magic happens. In section 1, we are going to uncover the hidden patterns holding you back and transform them into your biggest strength. Are you ready? Turn to that, you know, patterns, you know, section. First part, under pattern recognition assessment, you will see 3 questions. Number 1, what time of the day do you feel most stressed? Number 2, what situations trigger overwhelm? And lastly, number 3, what's your typical response to holiday pressure? Take a moment to answer these honestly. Maybe I can stop whilst, you know, you answer them. You know, look at that worksheet and, you know, answer those 3 questions. Have you all typed, you know, those questions? Yeah, look at that part of the worksheet and, you know, answer correctly. Now, this is your starting point for transformation. When you have written your answers, type aware in the chat. This is your first step to mastery. Now, what's the first pattern that jumped out at you? Share it in one word in the chat. Now, look at the pattern impact rating section of that first part, or first section. This is where we measure exactly how these patterns are affecting your life. On a scale of 1 to 10, we will rate the effect on, number 1, your energy. Number 2, your relationships. Number 3, your business or work. And number 4, lastly, your well-being or wellness. That's very important. And one of our core values is Aura Empower. As you complete these ratings, you might notice something powerful. Patterns that seemed separate are actually connected. This is exactly what Sarah discovered before her breakthrough. Next, we'll move into identifying your top 3 stress triggers. Turn to the next section. This is where transformation begins to take shape. Now, thus we have identified your core patterns. Let's map out exactly where these triggers show up in your daily life. Turn to your stress trigger mapping, or, you know, section. Have you turned to that section? Look at the 3 categories of triggers who transform. Trigger category number 1 is the daily triggers. You know those ones, yeah? Start with your morning routine. What does the pressure, you know, what does the pressure first hit? Is it the moment you check your phone, or is it during the morning rush, or when you think about your day ahead? Type morning, rush for maybe phone, or day in the chat. Now, let's identify when your transformation needs to begin. Trigger category number 2, situational triggers. This is where we get specific about family-related points, work-related stress moments, and holiday-specific challenges. Write down one specific situation under each category. Be detailed. The more specific you are, the more powerful your transformation will be. In trigger category number 3, which is our internal triggers, which are related to the stepdad. This is where real breakthrough begins. We are looking at the thoughts that create pressure, the emotions that follow, and the physical sensation you experience. When you have identified these triggers, type clear in the chat. This awareness is your first step to transformation. Now let's get on to stepdad, which I intimated. Now turn to section 2, the stepdad framework. This is where we transform these triggers into breakthrough opportunities. Before we dive in, I want you to know something powerful. Every trigger you just identified isn't just a problem to solve. It's an opportunity for transformation. Let me show you how. Number 1, starting with S, situation. Take your strongest trigger and write it at the top of the page. This is your transformation starting point. Type ready when you have your situation written down. Watch how this framework transforms everything now, from now on. Number 2, the thoughts. This is where mindset mastery begins. What thoughts immediately follow your trigger situation? Write down exactly as they come to you. No filtering, no judging. Remember, we are not trying to change these thoughts yet. We are bringing them into the light where they lose their power. Number 3, the emotions, for E. This is where most programs stop, but we are just getting started. What emotions arise with these thoughts? Drop a love heart emoji in the chat when you have identified your emotional patterns. This awareness is powerful. Now, number 4 is the beliefs, for B. This is where transformation takes root. Under every stressful holiday situation lies a core belief that's either empowering you or limiting you. Look at the core belief identified line in the worksheet. What deep belief is driving your holiday stress? Be honest. Is it just, I just want to make everyone happy, or my worth is tied to how much I can give? Maybe it's if I slow down, everything will fall apart. Now, here is what makes this powerful. Look at the supporting evidence and the challenging evidence sections. This is where we turn beliefs from barriers to breakthroughs. Type shift in the chat when you've identified your core belief. This awareness alone can change everything. Number 5, decisions. This is where your transformation becomes real. Under current choices. Write down how you've been handling this situation. Now, look at alternative solutions. This is where possibility lies. What choices do you actually make that you have not considered before? Write down 3 options that feel both exciting and slightly uncomfortable. The edge of discomfort. That's where growth happens. Number 6, actions. This is where intention becomes reality. Undercurrent response, note down what you typically do. Now, under the new response plan, we are going to craft something different, something aligned with who you are becoming, your future self. Drop a goal target emoji in the chat when you've written down your new action plan. Have you? You must be having an action plan by now. This is your commitment to transformation. Now, lastly, number 7, results. This is where it all comes together under desired outcome. Write down exactly what transformation looks like for you. Choose or close your eyes for a moment. See yourself living that transformation. Feel the difference it makes. What if every day started with clarity and ended with progress? I'm sure would love that. Everybody would love that. Now, turn to section 3 of our implementation guide. This is where your transformation becomes daily reality. Look at the morning check-in section. This is your daily power start. Number 1, pattern notice. 2, initial response. And 3, a chosen intervention. These 3 simple prompts will keep you on track every single day. Now, I want to create some accountability. The midday review ensures you stay conscious and intentional. So, number 1, challenge is first, right? Response is chosen, number 2, and the results observed. And now comes the evening. It's the evening reflection, which locks your progress. Number 1, the patterns shifts you have done, the successes you have had in the day, and areas for tomorrow you are looking to improve on. Now, type commit in the chat when you are ready to begin this daily practice. Let's look at how you measure your transformation. Under weekly tracking, you will monitor first for pattern recognition, monitor. Number 2, number of patterns identified. Number 2, speed of recognition. And lastly, number 3, the quality of response. And second, for pattern intervention, the number of successful interventions you've had, the effectiveness rating, you can work out some statistics on that. And lastly, number 3, areas for improvement. Now, here is what makes this next part so exciting. You are probably feeling the energy of your first pattern installation. Think of this December as the fertile ground where your new patterns take root, ready to blossom into lasting change in the new year, 2025. Imagine the patterns you are installing today becoming second nature, shaping not just your holidays, but your entire year ahead. But here is what's crucial to understand. This is just the beginning of what's possible during this unique December window. Think of this December as the fertile ground where your new patterns take root, ready to blossom into lasting change in the new year. Now, let me show you exactly how to ensure these patterns become permanent transformations. First point, number 1, on how to ensure these patterns become permanent transformation is, number 1, accelerated pattern installation. Remember how I mentioned your brain is 40% more receptive right now? This means the patterns you install this month become permanent faster than at any other time. Now, drop a rocket emoji in the chat if you are starting to feel the potential here. Second point, number 2, on how to ensure these patterns become permanent transformation is, number 2, community amplification. In this coming Sunday's Aura and Power experience session, you will discover how to bring to being part of a conscious community that accelerates your transformation even further. Let me share what makes the Aura and Power experience so impactful. First, number 1, you join a dynamic and inspiring group of growth-oriented individuals, each bringing unique perspectives and energy to the journey. Number 2, you'll experience transformational pattern work in a supportive and engaging environment. And number 3, you will receive personalized breakthrough guidance from our expert facilitators. Number 4, you will gain insights and motivation by learning from real-time transformations within the group or the community. And last, but certainly not least, number 5, you will explore unique product experiences designed to elevate and accelerate your journey. And the best part, you can bring along a trusted friend or a partner who shares your enthusiasm for well-being, growth, and transformation. Together in our community, you will have the opportunity to, first, number 1, support and amplify each other's breakthroughs. Number 2, the opportunity to exchange insights and discoveries that spark new ideas and actions. Number 3, the opportunity to build accountability for meaningful and lasting change, which is very important. Last, number 3, the opportunity to multiply your potential for success through shared commitment and collaboration. One of our fundamental values, some of our fundamental values. Third point, number 3, in how to ensure these patterns permanently transform is your personal breakthrough path. Your transformation journey is unique, and there are 3 clear steps from which you are freely able to choose. In each option, whichever you desire, or you can combine all of the choices for ensuring your success. The first step is get crystal clear. Through a focused one-on-one clarity call with me or some of our facilitators, where we'll both, number 1, map your personal pattern transformation strategy. Number 2, explore our eco-conscious and sustainable wellness solutions. And number 3, show you how our community creates sustainable success. Number 4, reveal exclusive opportunities for business growth. What makes this consultation different is our transparent approach. First, number 1, you see our complete transformation pathway. Number 2, you will experience our curated product collection firsthand. And number 3, you understand our unique business opportunity. And respectively, all this is aligned with your values and your vision or your point of view. The second step or option is to join this coming Sunday's Aura Empower Experience session. This is where transformation accelerates. Number 1, you learn advanced pattern installation techniques. Number 2, you connect with our supportive community. And number 3, you discover our sustainable approach to wellness. Lastly, number 4, you will explore ways to create income sharing these transformations. We'll show you how. Then the third step is to begin implementation. With your neural pattern mastery worksheet as your guide, you will, number 1, install daily success patterns. Number 2, you will track your transformation journey. And number 3, you'll access community support systems. Now, the space between Christmas and New Year isn't just another week. It's your breakthrough window. For those ready to explore this holistic approach, please do the following now. Number one, book your personal clarity call. Limited spots are available. And number two, secure your place in this coming Sunday's Aura Empower Experience session. And number three, begin your implementation journey with your worksheet today. Now, transformation doesn't just happen. It's a choice. I'm sure you know by now you know this. The space between Christmas and New Year's isn't just another week. It's your breakthrough window. Don't let it close without taking action. Type ready if you're committed to making that choice today. Or type transform in the chat if you are ready to. Number one, turn your holiday stress into momentum. Number two, join our conscious community. Number three, create sustainable success. And number four, begin your breakthrough journey. Remember, transformation happens through conscious choice. Whether through our premium products, community support, or a business opportunity, your path starts with a single decision. The space between Christmas and New Year isn't just another week. It's your breakthrough window. Don't let it close without taking action. All links to the steps you need to take now are in the charts down below. Number one, book your clarity call, discover your personal transformation journey. Number two, register for this coming Sunday's Aura Empower Transformation or Experience session and join our breakthrough community. And number three, download your implementation guide if you haven't done so yet. And start your journey now. Who is ready to transform? Type ready in the chat now. This isn't just another webinar. It's a chance to join a community of like-minded individuals committed to making this December a turning point. Spots are limited, and your transformation starts with one choice. Bring your completed worksheet to this coming Sunday's Aura Empower session. Thank you for being here and and watching.